1, 0.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. It's just me today. It's just me. Let me remove this really quick. It's Mike in the house. Steve is at work. Appreciate you joining me. This was a little impromptu. We're going to talk about camp. Day 1 yesterday, just a little bit if you guys got any questions about it. Day 2 today. Yesterday was a big offensive day. Today was a big defensive day. The defense was like, nay, you shall not get all the credit here. And the defense come out balling today. But I appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button. Get this out to more people. This was very impromptu. If you haven't already, hit that sub button. We're about to hit 31K. And basically, the show is, we're going to talk about Steve Spagnuolo. He gave us some good insight. He gave us some insight into Justin Reed. He gave us some insight into the cornerback 2 battle behind Trent McDuffie. He gave us some insight into some linebackers. He talked about Felix a little bit. But basically, what I wanted to do is I broke down his press conference. Look, first and foremost, we all know that the worst part of Chiefs press conferences, and I'm just going to tell this story from personal experience. If you relate to me, smash the like button. If you relate even harder to me, smash the sub button. But how annoying is it to always tune into those things and you can never hear the question? You can never hear the question. Half the time, the coach or the player is not even mic'd up properly. You cannot even hear the response. So look, I took it today. I took it upon myself. I went in, I grabbed it. I tried to enhance the audio the best I could without making it loud, distorted, crazy. They don't give me a lot to work with, but that's what I went and done for you guys, and I'm going to dive right into it now. And I want to go through Spags. I want to go through Spags' press conference. It's about 6.5, 7 minutes. We're going to listen to him, and I'm going to stop it periodically, and we'll talk about what he's got to say. If you got any comments or anything that you want me to address while we're watching it, I will go ahead and I will check it out on the side, and we'll bring up the comment. We'll talk about it. Before we get going, though, appreciate you guys being here. Again, Chiefer, you're awesome. About time. Chiefaholics in the house. HD Chiefs fans. Becky Pigtails is here. Drafting on my mind. Can I get an all yeah? Oh, yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Nick H says, it is annoying. It is so annoying when they do not get that, when they don't get that stuff like settled up. But I'm going to try to help you guys with that today. Jay's in the house. Carson, appreciate you guys. Let me just get it rolling here, and we'll listen to a little bit of what Spags had to say, and hopefully you can hear it better because I've enhanced the audio, and we'll talk about it. What's up, Hikey Mo? Here we go. Okay, before he takes his first question and comment, I want to make sure the audio is good for you guys. Can you guys hear him? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? I can adjust it. I want you guys to be able to hear this bad boy and to fully grasp what he's saying, because Spags was in midseason form today. He gave us a lot of info. We usually don't get that. We get a lot of ho-humming. Oh, so there's no sound on this. Okay, give me 1 second. We'll see if we can get the sound to work. Let me see. Why don't we have audio here? Maybe I have to patch it through. Let me try that. Check one. Okay, I'm going to play it again. Let me know if you get audio back. Let me know if you can still hear me.
Good to see everybody. Appreciate you being here. Just got done with the second practice. Had a pretty good run with the rookies back a couple days ago. Fired up to be back up here at St. Joe's. So with that, I'll just open it up and let you roll.
Okay, we tried it again. Can you guys hear it that time? If you can't hear it that time, I have no idea what's going on. HTG fan gives the thumbs up. You guys can hear it. Okay, that's it. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Let me know. I'm going to continue to go, and let's just jump right in, and I'll watch the comments, and I'll adjust to whatever you guys say.
You pried the ball loose a little bit against starters. Can you talk about that?
Well, it was emphasized.
Okay, so he asked him, he said, can they knocked the ball loose a few times today. They were getting the ball out of the hands, and that's what he's getting ready to address. So I'm just letting you know, because the audio was so low, you couldn't even, the program that put the captions in couldn't even hear the question How annoying is that? But he asked about them punching the ball, and here's what he's got to say.
Last night in the meeting, because I didn't feel like we got any yesterday. I don't know if you guys were here yesterday. There weren't as many reps yesterday, but I did think that the defense kind of took it up a notch. Good observation.
When you can't hit, you need to do things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're always talking, we chart the number of punch-outs or attempts to punch out because we just feel like if it's ingrained that it'll show up on game. Now, last year we didn't get as many as turnovers, fumbles as we're used to, so it's been a big emphasis. And now, I tell you what, the other thing that happens, I always say this, is it makes your offense better, too.
Hey, he's right. It does make the offense better. I want to go back just a little bit so you guys can watch some of these plays again in the background. This was from the practice today.
But I did think that the defense kind of,
and you can totally see right here, Rashee Rice catches the ball, and they swarmed. Drew Tranquil swarmed. I think that's McDuffie right there. I'm almost positive that's McDuffie. I have to see the number when he turns around. But they were punching at the ball. They were going ham at it. They caused Rashee Rice a lot of hell today. I think he put the ball on the ground 2-3 times. He was not having a good day. This is what we seen last year when you had Jack Cochran punching at Kelsey, and Kelsey was punching back. They are ingraining in these defenders, go get a turnover, and you heard Spags say that they didn't get as many as they liked last year, but they're going to try to do that more this year. They chart these things because it's the little things that matter, right? So they're charting this stuff, and Drew Tranquil and them were getting after it today. Drew Tranquil was all over the field today. He was a feisty guy out there, man. He was talking. He was talkative. Chamari Connor had a pretty good day. Najee Johnson. There was a lot of people had good days, but right now they're focusing on Drew Tranquil knocking the ball out, and Rashee Rice had a pretty bad day of hanging on to the ball. But I'll continue this.
Good observation.
When you can't hit, you need to do things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're always talking, we chart the number of punch-outs or attempts to punch out because we just feel like if it's ingrained that it'll show up on game. Now, last year we didn't get as many as turnovers, fumbles as we're used to.
You guys hear the audio even cutting out. Like that's how low the audio is.
Now, I tell you what, the other thing that happens, I always say this, is it makes your offense better too. Because if they know our guys out there are going to be doing this, then they're going to tend to be high and tight.
Coach, you're running Joshua Williams opposite Trent McDuffie. Is that a product of Jalen still being out, or is it kind of his job to lose, or is it an open competition?
No.
Okay, so he asked who's running opposite of Trent McDuffie, and this is a question I was very intrigued in. Me and Steve tend to believe it's going to be Josh Williams' job to lose. The reporter asked if it was Jalen Watson's job to lose. So still, I feel like people inside of the Chiefs, the reporting inside of the Chiefs camp here, is that they still believe it's Jalen Watson. Me and Steve believe it's Josh Williams. We have people in the chat believe that it is Najee Johnson. And this is going to be very intriguing. But for right now, Jalen Watson is injured. He's not out there. He's not being able to suit up and get on the field. So Josh Williams is running with the ones. Josh Williams is running with McDuffie as ones. Twos right now today, Najee Echo Boy Doe was running out there a little bit. Kelvin Joseph is having a nice look. He's had a nice mandatory OTAs, voluntary OTAs. And now he looks pretty good right now, too. Kamal Hadden, not talked about in this press conference or anything, but Kamal Hadden has actually been playing some slot with Chamari Connor. So we've got a lot of stuff there. But, yeah, he's saying right now who he thinks is the job to lose. And he says that right now it's just everybody knows it's open.
His job to lose, or is it an open competition?
No, it's pretty open. So you got fighting for that. You got Josh, you got Jalen, you got NJ. NJ, he would have had an interception today. To your point, somebody.
So Najee almost had a pick today. Somebody tipped the ball up in the air. I don't know if he could get to it or what. There's not been a clip of that anywhere. I tried to find that clip for everybody. I could not find that clip. More than likely what's going to happen is if he would have made the play, it would have been released. But since it's not, the Chiefs probably won't release it. It's not going to – that's just a hustle play. But I tell you what, Najee Johnson is making himself known. And they're going to talk about Najee a little bit more here because he got injured last year in camp right around this time, and he is fighting back through it. But You'll hear Spags in a little bit talking about his progression and what he sees out of Najee, but we'll continue.
He was set to make it, but he's been coming on. He was injured last year, but I think it's wide open, and I think all three of those guys know that.
With the absence of LJ.
Okay, you just heard a bunch of sputtering and everybody talking over each other, and Spags is confused. So disregard this little part. That is not even a thing. He's going to just point and make somebody ask a question again, just so you know.
I'm sorry.
What do you like about Jaden Hicks so far? Just being able to move him around.
One of the things that sticks out about Jaden is he's tall and long.
Jaden Hicks, tall and long. That's what he says. Jaden Hicks was the question. We found out today that Jaden Hicks was a best player available pick. I think we all kind of knew that. I think we all thought the safety room was decent. Could have been a little more deep, I guess. Can get a little younger. And they did that with Jaden Hicks. Jaden Hicks flat out can play. He's going to be a little bit of everything. He's almost Chamari Connor part 2. I think he's going to play a little bit down in the box. I think he's going to play a little high. I think he's going to play a little single high. I think he can cover corners if you need him to. He's a Justin Reed. He's like a perfect mix between Justin Reed and the way they're using Chamari Connor. I mean, that's kind of Jaden Hicks. But we heard that he was a best player available. And so that's good. So he's talking about Jaden and what he's being able to produce right now. What's up, Melissa? And then Ethan, we're Steve. Steve's at work right now. He couldn't be on today. So I'm just going to run through this press conference, and then I'm going to take some questions from you guys. Hit that like button for me.
He's playing a bunch of different positions. It's kind of, he's going through what Chamari Connor went through last year, where, you're trying to learn everything in the volume of the defense, and yet he's not just learning one spot.
Okay, so right there, he said that he's not learning one spot. Jaden Hicks is doing the Chamari Connor row from last year. So this is Chamari Connor part 2. They have 2 Chamari Connors, and we seen what Connor could do last year. Like, this dude stepped up late in the season. He figured it out in the playoffs. He was one of PFF's highest rated safeties. The dude can flat out play. Jaden Hicks is a clone. They're going to do the same stuff. They're going to have, in case of, injury concerns, or they may be able to make this so versatile. You've got this dude, and you've got Chamari Connor, and you're going to have safeties all over the field. I think Spags is going to have so much fun. And I think maybe they did this to alleviate a little bit of maybe the loss of L'Jarius Sneed. You may not be able to, and I think Spags does speak about this in a minute too. You may not be able to shadow wide receivers around with McDuffie like you could Sneed, depending on size or whatever. So there are chances we'll do that, but if not, you're just wanting playmakers on the field, and I think that's what Chamari and now Jaden Hicks is going to give us.
And Jay Reed, we're not going to have for a little bit here.
Okay, and right here, I want to go ahead and stop it. So he gives the update on Justin Reed. We heard Justin Reed was day-to-day yesterday and that he would be back very soon. Spags let it slip right here, and then we all dug it up. So here's what he said. Jason Anderson reports from 810 what I just said on the air. So he said this on air. He's been told that Justin Reed's quad injury is more serious than a day-to-day. So it's not day-to-day. It's more serious. They're thinking he could miss all of preseason, and it's possibly a question mark for the beginning of the year. How many games that is, I don't know. Surely you're not going to have to start this dude on the PUP, on the IR right off the rip. Like, that is bad news. Now, we'll say this made the Jaden Hicks pick look freaking amazing. They also, out of the blue, this morning or last night they axed Trey Dean, the safety they picked up from the Jets, that come from Florida, SEC guy. I thought that kid had a good chance of making it. They axed him. They did, in return, pick up Tyree Gillespie out of Mizzou. You guys are going to know him, you Mizzou fans. He was a 4th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. 4th-round pick for the Raiders. He's been with us before. He's been dropped, but he is back. They've re-signed Tyree Gillespie, so that's where they're going there. I don't know what Trey Dean done, or if he's injured as well. There was no input given on that, but we do know that Dean is out, Gillespie is in, and we know that Justin Reed is now battling a big-time quad injury, and they said it was non-football related. So maybe he had a bad shot on the golf course, lost a bet, somebody hit him with a golf club. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. What's up, Destiny? Good to see you. So, yeah, back to Spags, and now we know that Justin Reed is now in danger, possibly missing the entire preseason or more.
And so it's a blessing and a curse, right? Jay Reed doesn't get the reps, but somebody else get those reps, and right now it's Jaden that's benefiting from it.
With the absence of LJ from last year now.
Absence of?
Legarius.
Yeah.
Is Trent kind of stepping
You
into that?
just killed him.
Look at Spags. He's heartbroken over L'Jarius Sneed. So the reporter's asking, with the absence of L'Jarius Sneed, well, first and foremost, he said Jaden Hicks is getting Justin Reed snaps right now. So that looks to be like Justin Reed's backups right now is Jaden Hicks. So now he's asking him, Sneed, how are you doing this with Sneed? And he's reacting to Sneed, and he's heartbroken, as we all are, right?
No, yeah.
Is Trent stepping into that leadership role?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean,
So he's asking if Trent stepped into the leadership role that L'Jarius Sneed left behind. Look, it's been like 6 mandatory OTAs and 2 days of camp. I don't think McDuffie, I have no reserve in me thinks that Trent McDuffie can't step into a leadership role. Like, the kid's good. He's a student of the game. He knows what he's doing. Now, he's not the most talkative, but I don't think L'Jarius Sneed was either. But on the field, these guys turn into different animals, right? So I think he's going to be fine. And before we get going here, you're going to see a nice breakup right here by Trent McDuffie. So keep that in mind, because it don't really say what we're seeing on the screen. But Trent McDuffie's going to make a nice little breakup here. And Spags is talking about him.
you guys know that almost every game we had LJ travel with the quote-unquote top receiver. Whether we do that or not with Trent, we'll see. It'll just be a game-by-game plan. We'll see who the other corner is, who the nickel is. There's still a lot of unknowns right now. We got some work to do back there. We certainly miss LJ. I miss him every day.
Okay, so he said he let us know right now. So, look, what do we know about the corner room? We know that the 1 right now is McDuffie, obviously, but the number 2 is Josh Williams right now in the absence of Jalen Watson. And even if Watson's back, it's him and Najee and Williams. It's their game. Jaden Hicks is now taking all the snaps from Justin Reed. Justin Reed may be missing most of camp and maybe some of the season. That stinks. But now he's saying that Trent has stepped up, and going forward, he may or may not shadow. He may not follow number 1s. If I'm not mistaken, L'Jarius Sneed didn't always shadow number 1s. I want to say the first time they started that was the December game versus the Seahawks. Was it last year? It was the year before that. And then last year they started doing it a lot. They used to do it back with Charvarius Ward a little bit. I think he actually mentions that in a minute. But they used to do it with Ward. But they're saying they may not do this all the time. This may not be something they just rely on. They're going to look at individual matchups, who the receivers are, and they're going to move these guys around. We've said that McDuffie, I've always had a little bit of reserve with McDuffie. Love that dog in him. But McDuffie does have some size limitations. And we've seen in the preseason last year against the Saints, rookie out of Wake Forest, A.T. Perry, he was eating his lunch there in the first quarter. Like, it was insane. Like, his size was just too much for McDuffie. When that ball was put on the exact spot, McDuffie was struggling. And I know he wasn't in midseason form, and I think McDuffie is a shutdown corner. I have no beef about that. Like, he is that guy. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of matchup dependent. He's a little different than L'Jarius Sneed. To say Trent McDuffie is L'Jarius Sneed at this point in his career, I think that's a false thing. Could he get there or better? Absolutely. 100%.
In a sense, be hard for one player to fill in. How much of replacing will be scheme versus someone in particular taking those roles?
Yeah, some of the scheme might change because we'll see if we have somebody that's going to step up and serve that particular role. If we don't, we go in another direction, find another way to do it. I mean, you guys know, in the years we've been here, we didn't always every game travel a corner. Sometimes
right.
we did. We did it a little bit when Charvarius Ward was here. We did it with him.
I love that the caption called him Charvarius Wood. I've actually, watching captioning cracks me up. So far, they've called Justin Reed Jay. He called him Jay Reed, and it spelled out Jay, Jay Reed. And now it's called him Charvarius Wood. Freaking incredible. Okay, I'm gonna buy like NCAA 2025 and make a Trevarius Wood. See if I can get him drafted.
But it'll be a game-by-game thing.
You mentioned NJ. Can you talk a little bit about how he looks now compared to before he got hurt last year? Because you were really raving about how good he looked before.
Okay, so he asked about Najee Johnson. He said he was raving about how he looked before his injury. How does he look after? He's getting ready to speak on Najee Johnson. They're referring to him as NJ. So just letting you know, that's what that was. He's getting ready to talk about Najee. I think he gives some good info on Najee here.
That's a good point. You got a good memory. I thought he made a lot of plays last year during this camp. I forget exactly when he got hurt. I know we were indoors, but it was a little ways, right? We had some. The reason I remember that is because, we as coaches, we use a library of tape. When I'm sitting there talking about technique, and I know just last night there was one on there of NJ last year making a really good play. He's getting there. I mean, he's a little rusty just because of all the time he had off. It's been a full year. I mean, if you'd ask him, he looks to me like he's moving around pretty good. Like, I don't see limitations, but he'd be a better guy to ask for.
Okay, so he's saying that he sees what Najee's doing. He looks good. He's a little rusty, right? He's not played a lot of football here in the last year. He's been recovering from that ACL. But he says he don't see many limitations. He don't see anything that looks that bad. Look, Spags has been around this league a long time. He can see when guys are struggling physically and mentally because of that. And he says he doesn't see it. And that's a great sign for Najee. We've got people in our own chat that think Najee is that number 2 corner. I have no qualms with that if the kid can go out there and play. Najee's good. I think Najee will make the team this year. I don't think there's a problem with him making the team. I really do feel like Najee's on this squad. It's his to lose. Where I'm getting a little bit iffy with the squad is corner, you're looking at like corner 5 and 6. Those are getting weird. Like Kamal Haddon, we drafted him. Is he going to be able to get on here? Javier says he is not. So I don't know what we're talking about. He is not what? Corner 2? I don't think he's corner 2. There are some people that think he could be corner 2. He's got a good possibility. I do think Williams is corner 2 in my opinion. I will say this. Najee is probably, I think Najee's one of that top 5 corners. So look, if we take 5 corners, I think Najee's got that. He's got that 4. He's got that 5. And Kamal Haddon, it's going to be a wild one to watch. It really is, because I'm telling you, Kelvin Joseph is coming on. Like, coaches are liking what he's doing. People are starting to talk about him more and more. So we'll see.
With the linebackers, obviously, we're about to talk to Nick, but without Willie Gay, how's that kind of working out?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's asking about linebackers without Willie Gay. So now we're going to talk about the linebackers a little bit. And he throws out a name that kind of surprises me, as in somebody he would speak on. It probably shouldn't surprise me. He made the team last year, but I thought that maybe this year there could be some guys pushing him for the spot, and kind of sounds like that might not be the case.
Figured that all out.
We're going to miss Willie's burst and speed and his energy. Loved having Willie around. You can't help but not like being around Willie Gay, right? But Drew's been here and has played that spot. Jack Cochran has been doing a terrific job.
Jack Cochran. He calls out Jack by name. Okay. Jack Cochran, he's been with the team for a while. He takes a lot of special team snaps. Look, we had Cam Jones on the team last year from Indiana. Okay. You had Jack Cochran. I didn't know if Jack Cochran was going to make the team. We ended up taking one more linebacker than I thought we were going to last year. But you got Leo, you got Drew. Willie's not here, so now you've got that extra guy. So, I mean, it would make sense that Jack Cochran's probably going to step in and get that. But you got Isaiah Moore out of NC State that was putting on a pretty good push last year to possibly make the team. I thought he was right there with Cam Jones, to be honest, till he had his injury. You also have, Bozeman. He's a little guy, and I don't know if well, when I say little, he's not little as in a stature, but he's a small school guy. He's not had a lot of competition. He does have limitations, and he does have a lot of injuries. Love Bozeman, but I don't know if he's going to have what it takes to crack this linebacker core. I think this is a good linebacker core, especially with Leo and everybody. I think Leo's taking a big step up this year for sure. So it's going to be fun to watch. But it looks like Jack Cochran is probably going to hold off the Isaiah Moores of the world, and we'll see. I mean, because Isaiah Moore has all that potential. He really does. There's a few more linebackers in there, too, that can flat-out play. But Jack Cochran surprised me that he's the one standing out to him.
Right. Leo is going to probably have different roles than he had last year. You know, in conjunction with Nick, we'll get some young guys out there. So hopefully, you know, if we can find 5, 6, however many linebackers and get some good ones.
So he says 5 or 6 linebackers. That's cool. He also says Leo is going to have some different roles this year. So Leo, he could be blitzing a lot. He does that pretty well. Leo does a good job in the run game. Maybe they're going to get Leo in some pass coverage situations. Who knows? That little pitcher there had him lined up against Kelsey on the outside. I don't know if he passed him off or what on that rep, but we'll see. I think it's interesting. I think the linebackers are a very interesting group. Are we going to take the 5 or 6? He mentioned it's right there. I think the linebackers are where you're going to look. You might have to take 5 linebackers instead of 6 just so you can get your extra corner on. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you need Kamal Haddon and you're like, look, we're just going to take 5. Depends. These new rules on the kickoffs are causing some different, thought patterns, some different arguments in the room when you're trying to cut this down to 53.
Let's wrap up. We'll start with me.
Steve, the pads are going to come on, I guess, in a few days. Just how eager are you to see Felix?
Yeah.
And what do you want?
So they're asking about Felix when the pads come on.
Show, I guess, throughout the course of training.
Yeah, I think you're dead on, Nate, that we need him to show in pads. I mean, it's a different ball game, especially for D linemen when you're in this kind of practice. But, yeah, we're going to be looking for some physicality, some growth in his pass rush ability. I mean, it's year 2, right? He made a great play in the Super Bowl, which I think was great for his confidence. And I think we just, if he keeps making plays like that, he's going to get more and more confident. I think it'll be good for his game.
So he's basically saying Felix, he wants to see more. When those pads come on, he wants to see more. Felix has got to start getting after the passer a little bit more. He's got to get more tenacious versus the run. He can't be thrown out of the gap. Again, we'll go back to the Raiders game last year. Josh Jacobs chunked one off for like 70 yards or something. Now, did he get held? Yes, he did get held, but they're not going to call that a lot, and they're definitely not going to call that if it's, the Raiders scoring on the Chiefs. They're not going to do it. But Felix has to get a little tougher. You've seen here that play on McCaffrey. Pretty nice play there in the Super Bowl. But he's got to get this pass rush down. Look, it was a nice feel-good story that we took the hometown guy with pick number 32 last year. But he's got to come on. You can't just say, hey, hometown guy, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is year 2. He's got to get it. We talked about Sky last year. Last year, a lot of people were waiting on Sky, and Sky didn't do it. And now everybody has turned completely. I'm wondering if that will happen with him if he does not come on. And Steve seems to think so. A lot of people seem to think people will turn on him pretty quick. I think Felix will do well working in the offseason with Tamba. Another year with George Karlaftis. Another year learning like hand techniques and stuff from Chris Jones and stuff. I think he will eventually come on this year. I'm looking for probably, I'll say 5 to 7 sacks, and I think that's a good progression. If he could somehow get over 7, if he could get to 8 and God forbid double digits, I think that they definitely know they hit. But I think somewhere, you're not even wanting serviceable here. You're not wanting serviceable. To be honest, they signed Mike Dana for another 2 to 3 years. Mike Dana's the serviceable guy. But you drafted him late in the draft, and now he's that nice rotational piece that can come in and give you some timely pass rush or get to the quarterback or make a play here and there. You don't want that from Felix. Felix is supposed to be a star. He's a first-round talent. I mean, George, they said he wasn't a first-round talent. He falls all the way to the end of the first round, and George has been a star. He's been everything that we thought he was going to be when everybody was passing him up. So, look, Felix has got to get over this. Felix has got to do better this year, and even Spags said it. So I'm glad Spags said it, and it's just one of those things, man, where Felix knows it's on him. There's a target on him. Show up and perform. I think this is the last question.
With Justin being injured, know he's still out there. How much you relying on him to use his voice a little bit to be a coach?
Yeah, I mentioned that. I told him, we can use this as a positive and just have him dig deeper into the playbook, like not just learn his position, learn the others. He does that anyway. I mean, you guys know Jay Reed's a pretty sharp dude. But he's going to have to stay in tune, him and Jalen. If you notice, they can't be involved in anything. But I noticed it today when we're doing a walk through. They're back there and physically in their mind and moving around into it. That's really important.
Last two, Spagnuolo and Matt.
Coach, what worries you the most about this year's team that's gone so far?
What worries him the most about this year's team? This answer is hilarious, by the way.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Look, he's focused.
That's all I'm
baby.
thinking about right now. I'll be quite honest with you, really. I mean, listen, we know they're going to be all fired up, and that's a good football team. So that's who I'm thinking about right now.
Coach, Pro Football Writers recognized you with the Lifetime Achievement Award earlier this year. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Lifetime Achievement Award football. Spags deserves it, man. I remember in KC, it was just, man, I want to say it was last year. Not this past year, but the year before. So, yeah, the year that he started implementing L'Jarius Sneed out to cover, to cover ones all over the field, not just play his side. But there was a lot of Chiefs Kingdom that was wanting Spags out. They were wanting him out, dude. We were like, please hang on here. Like, this dude is good. He knows what he's doing. Like, the team's just not getting there, man. So, it's one of those things. But let's hear what he says about this one.
I'm glad you brought that up because, first of all, I was humbled, right? Shocked, humbled, and concerned when you get an award that says Lifetime Achievement on it. That means you're getting old, right? But I do want to say this because Sid and Brad and Ted at the time filled me in on the whole thing. And I know that there's some people in here that are involved in that. So I want to say thank you to those that, because I know that doesn't happen unless there's some kind of support. Here's the other thing I know about that kind of award. It's a team sport, and when you get an individual award, that means you are around really good people on good teams, good coaches, good players. So that's not lost on me. But thanks, Matt, because I did want to thank the people that helped out with that. Great, thanks.
Okay, so that wraps it up, man. Hopefully, if you guys heard that one and you wanted to know what some of the questions was, I tried to get it through to you. But, yeah, man, appreciate you guys being here. We'll talk about this more. I'll answer any more questions or whatever. I've been reading some of the chat, trying to go along with it. I'll get to that. You guys can ask me questions, whatever you want to do. I'll be here for just a little bit. And we'll do that. We'll talk about camp from yesterday, today. I think I got one more play to show from today. It was kind of a cool little play. But hit that like button, hit that sub button, and, yeah, here it is. Got a little Echo Boy Doe pick action today. Mahomes got picked a few times. Well, I know he got picked once. I'm not for sure who threw that ball right there. It could have been Mahomes because Echo was running with the 2. Well, no, Echo was running with the 2, so that would have probably been Carson Wentz. They didn't show the full clip. I hate when they don't show the full clips, man. Just give us the full clip. Come on. We've been waiting all summer to see something, and you guys just going to show us a little tiptoe action? You can't even show us the whole play, all of the 7 seconds? But, yeah, man, appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get to the chat a little bit. Appreciate you being here, guys. Scott Vance, I see you in the chat. Michael Donegan, see you. Javier says, we did, not going to lie, Spags had to get his guys in the draft. Yeah, like a lot of people were down on Spags. I'm not saying everybody was down, but there was a lot calling for Spags' job. Spags, it's a system in which he has to get players to fit him, and the Chiefs were kind of in that, they called it a rebuild. They've called it a rebuild. Yeah, the corners and stuff look they were kind of bad, but Brett Veach fixed that. He's focused on bringing in some better safeties on the back end, and then you've seen Jaden Hicks, and he still drafted a corner this year in Kamal Hadden. He went out and signed Kelvin Joseph in the offseason, so they're still adding on there. Personally, I think that they could I think they could have been a little bit more aggressive on grabbing some down linemen, defensive linemen. A lot, like, I'm still there. I do know we were second in sacks last year, and I do know we were second in pressures, but we get a lot of pressures from blitzing. We get a lot of pressures from linebackers. We get a lot of pressures from safeties, corners. We just don't do it from the front 4. And yes, Chris Jones is always a focal point. George is coming around. George came around last year. Mike Dana done a pretty good job last year. Felix has to hit. I think if Felix is good, we're good there. If you've seen a crystal ball and you said, hey, Felix isn't going to hit, that's kind of why I was on the let's grab somebody bandwagon, try to get some more pass rush in here. I was kind of even looking at a few guys in the draft. There was a few, defensive players. Jalix Hunt, I think, was one that I thought was kind of cool. And then especially getting that news with B.J. Thompson, you know, and him going through all that, and he may not be able to play for a specific amount of time or something. I thought maybe getting some pass rush, and then Brett Veach went back and took a defensive line, and he grabbed a lot of people on one-year deals, and we're still not for sure if Neil Farrell's going to pan out there at DT, and Mike Pinnell's getting a little older. So I would have liked to have seen that, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, a lot of people, look, everybody's talking about Sky Moore in the chat. Look, Sky Moore, I tell you guys, the other day, I prefaced this, and I can go through it if you want. I took a lot of screenshots the other day, and I was breaking down some Sky Moore film. I planned on doing this at an entirely other live stream or something. Like just planning in the future, looking at some Sky Moore. Me and Ron Kopp Jr. was talking about Sky Moore. He gives some thoughts, I give some thoughts, and he was like, go back and rewatch some games from last year and watch Sky Moore and see what he does and this and that, and you may come to a different conclusion. So I went back and I watched the Detroit Lions game right off the rip. You know, Kadarius Toney was just coming back. He crapped the bed. I don't think he was ready to play. We didn't have Kelsey, so I thought this was a perfect game to look at. And I took some screenshots. I analyzed some plays. And you guys are going to be very surprised what I found, and I only got to halftime. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But I'll go through that if you guys want me to. I was going to do it on a different one, but I can do it here. It's like 3 or 4 plays, not a big deal. A lot of people don't like Sky. I see Javier saying that he's getting cut. I don't think I don't think Sky's getting cut. You can't cut a guy that you put a second-round pick on 2 years ago. You just can't do it. You're not going to do it, in my opinion. I don't think so. Jeremiah says he's making the team. Brian Parrott says he's a chooch. Michael Donica says he gets open, just can't win outside of slot. Nikki said he was good early last year. Chiefer says do it. Do it. Look, here's what I'll do. I'll go through one. And if you guys want to see more, I'll continue. If you don't, I'll stop. Okay, so here was one of the first plays that jumped off the page to me. This was in the Chiefs' opening drive, I believe, last year. The very first drive of the season. So don't come at me with, well, he didn't trust Scott Moore. He's not doing this. Sky was already proven he ain't no good, blah, blah, blah. No. This was the first week, okay? First maybe second drive. He's not even thrown a pass to Sky Moore yet. So Sky Moore didn't have a chance to drop, even though he only dropped 2 balls of all last year, okay? And again, this isn't just a Sky Moore love-a-thon. This is me trying to get to the root of the problem. Like, what is the disconnect of Sky Moore and him being good in this league? What's the disconnect between people thinking Sky Moore drops the ball a lot compared to his only 2 drops he's had? Everybody says he gives up on routes. Everybody says this, he says that, he says doing this. And then you watch the film, and lo and behold, none of this is true. It's not true. It's just not true. And I'm going to show you right here. We'll do one play, and if you guys want to see more, I'll do more. And if not, we'll do something different. It's fine with me. Here was the first play. I'll bring it up. So I had to do screenshots because if I show you the actual play, they come and take it, and the NFL tries to take my 25 cents I earned today. So I just have to show you some screenshots. So right here, look, you can see at the time tag, we're 3 minutes into the game. So I want to say this is like the first drive. Okay. Sky's in the slot. This is exactly where Sky needs to be in the slot. He is 100% circled. Okay. Yellow circle. MVS is at the top. He's on the outside. MVS. And then you've got your 2 corners. And look, Mahomes didn't put nobody in motion. We don't know if this is going to be man-to-man. We don't know if this is going to be zone, if they're going to drop back, what they're going to do. They put nobody in motion. So either Mahomes said, screw it, I don't care what it is, or they knew it, something give it away beforehand, but they didn't put anybody in motion. Actually, I think Sky may have dropped into motion right here, to be honest. So maybe they did see that it was supposed to be kind of like a man-to-man kind of thing. So anyways, you'll see Sky right across from him. You had his guy, and then you got MVS's guy across from him. That's what it's supposed to be. MVS is going to basically run a pick route. Okay, he's going to run a pick route, and Sky Moore's going to come off of it, and he's going to run the fade up the sideline. So here it is. Sky Moore is Patrick Mahomes' number 1 read. He's watching him right here. He's watching him. He's looking right at him. MVS, great pick route. He sets down right here and just completely just destroys him. You'll see now the guy that has to take Sky Moore, he was getting ready to come down. He was going to come down on MVS, and now he's like, oh, crap, got to go to Sky. He's in the box. You can see it. Patrick Mahomes is watching him. He's right here. He's reading number 1. Patrick Mahomes has about that whole green circle, and if not more than that green circle, he just floats the ball into. Patrick Mahomes can make that throw blindfolded and left-handed. The safety at the top of the screen has diagnosed what's happened, but he's not even made a move to go yet. The ball should be thrown right now. You throw a nice little fade up, and Sky Moore's going to run right under it. More than likely, if he catches it in space, that's 4.4 speed. Here it is. There's Sky Moore. You can see now that Patrick Mahomes has now turned away from Sky Moore. So he turned against it, and he come down to Justin Watson. Now, I will say he completes this ball to Justin Watson, but look at Sky Moore up top. You've got a corner that's not even near him. He's not even turned around and identified the ball. The ball should have already been thrown. Sky should be running right under it right now. The safety is just now breaking. He is not anywhere close. He's 20 yards from where the ball should be landing, at least 10 to 15. Sky Moore was wide open on that play. That was the first of the season. That was his number 1 read, and Patrick Mahomes chose not to throw it to Sky Moore. And then at the end of the day, everybody says Sky Moore don't get open. Sky Moore don't catch the ball. It's not about targets, and it's not about catches. It's about how many times your quarterback will throw it to you. And Patrick Mahomes didn't feel comfortable coming out right out of the gate, opening night, and making that throw. And I have no idea why, because with a well-thrown ball, that could have been 6 points, okay? And that was literally the first drive of the game. First drive. So, hey, it is what it is. Well, I don't think that a lot of times that it could be Sky's fault. Did somebody say he's already false started? No, ball's already been snapped. Look, that's how good Jawan Taylor actually is. If you go back and watch a lot of them, they do look like false starts, but the ball is in motion. The ball does not have to be out of Creed's hand. The ball does not have to be in the air. As soon as Creed makes a motion, so when he leans the ball, that counts as your snap. So if he leans forward, snaps, that's snap. If he leans back, snaps. Whatever he does is a snap, right? Look, Jawan Taylor is moving, but the ball's halfway to Mahomes already, and not a single other person on the field's reacted but Jawan Taylor. That's how good Jawan Taylor is at timing snaps, and I'm telling you, for some reason, they just wanted to pick on him last year. Now, the only other guy reacting is Aiden Hutchinson, the guy he's going up against. A bad MF out there is what he is. Aiden Hutchinson's good. Of course he's trying to jump the snap and do things like this. But look, he didn't start early, and those two are the only guys moving. Now, imagine if he was as slow as some of these other guys, not even moving. Daggone, Aiden Hutchinson would have run right by him like he was just sitting there. So, shame on Chris Collinsworth for starting that debacle last year, by the way. That was ridiculous that we had to even do all that. Yeah, so that was the first play I noticed with Sky Moore last year. And again, I know everybody's going to, everybody's going to have their things about, Mahomes don't trust him, this, that, and everything else. Hey, maybe you don't. But if you don't trust him, don't put him on the team. Andy, I don't think that's real. I don't think it is. He threw to him a lot of times throughout the year. In game 2 against the Jags, he threw to him a lot, and Sky had a good game that game. I think they went back to the drawing board after game 1, and they said, hey, you missed Sky Moore a lot. And I think in game 2, they hit him a lot. I do believe that because I'm only at halftime, and I could draw up about 5 plays that Sky Moore did not do anything wrong, and there just wasn't anything there for him. But yet at the end of the day, we said Sky Moore's ineffective. He stinks. I'll do one more. I thought this one was telling. This one, Scott, you can't see Sky Moore on the screen. He's going to be, he's off to the right. So he's out of the frame. He's going to be that arrow coming in on that outside linebacker. And then you're going to have Isaiah Pacheco. He's going to go up to the A gap. Okay. He's going to go A gap, and then he's going to go that way, and they're going to run a mesh. They're trying to hit, I think it's Anzalone is his name, the middle linebacker. They're trying to get him, and they're trying to get the outside linebacker to cross, hit each other. Sky or Pacheco's going to come open because of this if you can get them to bounce each other. And then on the back, you're going to have 31. You can see the safety creeping up. I don't know if that's Joseph or who. He's creeping up, but he's gonna end up dipping way back, and you can't see it from this angle, but he's probably gonna go well beyond the logo back there. And then you're gonna have Rashee Rice come along the back side of the linebacker. So he's getting behind the linebackers, and he's gonna find a soft spot, right? So here we go. Play snaps. You see Sky Moore, he's in frame. He's circled right here. He did his job. And this is another thing people don't think about Sky Moore. Sky Moore does things that you do not see besides catch the ball. Like Andy and them want football players, and Sky can do things like this. And again, this is just not a Sky rules kind of thing. This is just, I'm trying to show that Sky is not as bad as everybody tries to make him out to be, even though he is not as effective. I do believe he should be more effective, and we've got to figure out why he's not. But look, Pacheco's open. Pacheco's wide open. So their mesh route done exactly what they were supposed to do. And apparently that wasn't Mahomes' number one read, because he's not even looking at him. By the way, if he goes to Pacheco here, Pacheco's probably, at the least, he's going 10 yards in the first. Sky Moore's doubled. He's got the linebackers. And you can see in the orange there in the second level, you'll see Rashee Rice's feet. There's no defender's feet in his area. Why is that? Because the safety has dropped back, and he's running free, wide open. So I don't know who Mahomes is looking at here. I don't know if he's looking at Sky to come open, or I don't know if he's looking at Rashee Rice, but I think Sky is the read. And why is that? Because on play number 3, you still see Rashee Rice back here. I don't have him circled this time, but he's still open, and Mahomes is doing like a run forward pump fake. He wanted to throw to Sky, and you can see that Anzalone is holding Sky. So Sky done his job. He broke free, and now he gets held. No call. Mahomes didn't throw the ball. He didn't throw to Rashee. He takes the sack. He goes forward. I don't think it counted as a sack, but he runs the ball. He falls forward. So again, the first time he didn't throw to Sky. Sky was open. Second time, Sky got held. So just showing that even in a play where he got held, he did his job properly. He ran the proper route. He caused the linebackers to trip over themselves. Pacheco's wide open, but Mahomes is not even thinking about him. Rashee Rice is open on the backside. He's not even thinking about him. Mahomes got a little pigeonholed onto one particular thing, and we've seen that. Here's just another one. This is not really a whole route. I just wanted to show that Sky Moore is open. He shook his man. He's 5 yards open right here. Mahomes looking right at him, and Mahomes does not throw to Sky Moore. Again, I'm 13 minutes into the film, so this is like the second drive of the game. And no other ball has been thrown to Sky Moore at this point yet. So he didn't drop. He didn't give him a reason not to trust him. This is the first game of the season. Sky Moore has now played almost every snap, so obviously he's earned the coaching staff's trust. He don't throw it. Now, in his defense here, this is third down. It's third down, and Sky's about 5 yards short of the line to gain. That might be why he didn't do it, and I don't care the reasons he didn't do it. I'm just showing that Sky Moore was matched up man-to-man on that corner, and he shook him for 5 yards. He's open. So people that say Sky Moore can't get open, he can get open. He gets open a lot. He averages about 6 yards or 6 feet of open. I think I want to say, I was telling Ron Kopp this one the other day, I want to say he's about 2.5 yards on man-to-man is how much coverage he as how open he gets his throwing window, and against zone he's about 2.65. So he's every bit of 6 to 7 feet on most of these plays on average. So not bad, but yeah, that's 3 plays. I got more. If you want to see more, we can do more. I think I've got like 5 plays maybe, so there's only 2 more anyway. So I mean, I can show them if you guys want me to, but again, not trying to just shill for Sky Moore. I just want to be shown that, hey, this is the first. Like, I turned on the film because I was told, go turn on the film and watch Sky Moore not do his job. And then lo and behold, I don't even get to halftime, and I find 5 plays where Sky Moore had done his job perfectly and nobody would throw him the ball. So what's he going to do? And by the way, there was one with John Ross too. I found 1 or 2 with Justin Ross. I don't know why I said John Ross. Justin Ross. There was 2 with Justin Ross. One of them, it was just he was a decoy route. So Mahomes never even looked his way. He stayed looking at the left side of the field, and Justin Ross was running open, dude. Like, it's insane. But again, it's a decoy route. He wasn't even looking to throw him the ball, so it was never happening. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Doug says, Sky can block. Also go to the Jets game last season. It was Sky that was blocking and Patrick slid and we won the game. Yeah, there's another play on here where Sky does. He comes out and he does a pretty good block here. They score a touchdown. It was early in the game. Sky blocked for a touchdown run on this one. And he was pretty tenacious too. Like, he found the guy and he went and got him and he didn't let up. I think Sky just gets a little bit of it's misconception. I think it's from rookie year. People are associating his drop problems with the punt return and the Dave Tobe stubbornness. Even though we had McCole Hardman on the team, you could have done McCole rather than run Sky into the ground. I think it hurt his confidence a little bit. Last year, the receivers just sucked in general to the point to where Mahomes lost trust in everybody, and it got nasty quick. And it never recuperated. But I just thought, going back and looking, I'm trying to find things. This is what we do as football. I mean, we're not analysts. Don't get me wrong. I don't claim to be an analyst, but I've played the game. I understand the concepts. And then when I watch these, I don't understand why it's not being executed on the field. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock out the last two plays. Forget it. Somebody said to do it, so we'll do it. So this one's a fun one. This one's not Rashee Rice. This one's Sky Moore. He's going to take a direct handoff. So they put him in motion for a jet sweep. He's going to take a handoff. So here he comes. He's got the ball in his hand, and the pink line is where he wants to go. He's going to follow. You see down here at the bottom, you've got I can't make out the receiver, but I want to say Rashee Rice is coming through the hole right here, this yellow this yellow line right up the middle. That's Rashee Rice. You've got a good block here on the line, and then you've got another wide receiver, and I don't know which wide receiver. I think it might be MVS again. MVS is going out to the corner, and then you've got a pulling tackle. This is Donovan Smith pulling. You can see him in the hole. He's circled in green. Okay, Sky Moore is to find Donovan Smith, get in behind him, and then Donovan Smith is going to lay the last block to spring him. And by the way, 4.4 speed, he's going to be able to just house it right now because every player on the defense is in the frame. There is nobody behind this guy here circled in white back here, this safety. So you've got the linebacker and you've got a safety. So Donovan Smith has to hit the first one that appears. You got to hit the first one that appears. So here we go. You got helmet on helmet, all in the greens. Sky Moore has put his foot in the dirt. He's found Donovan Smith, and he is turning upfield, and he is about to go to pay dirt. He's about to hit pay dirt right here. If Donovan Smith puts a block on anybody, he's gone. So first person that appears for Donovan Smith is the safety. He's right here in green. If you notice, I X'd out the linebacker. The linebacker took a bad angle. He can't get there. His angle should have been that green. He has to turn around and do what that yellow line does. He'd have to put his foot in the dirt, flip his hips, and he's got to cut Sky Moore off at about the 45. And honestly, I think Sky Moore would run by him still. So he took a bad angle of pursuit. Joe Tooney down here's let off his block, but it's not a big deal. Your Rashee Rice, heck of a seal block right here on the inside. And I don't think that's I said that was MVS, but that may be, I don't know who that is. That might be Richie James, actually. Looks like Richie James. But he's got a body on him. He's got hands on him. He's good. Look how close Donovan Smith is to this block. He's one foot. He's an arm length away. And I couldn't play the rest of the clip because I have to play it for you to believe it. But here's what happens. Donovan Smith runs right by him and does not touch him, and he tackles Sky Moore at the 50-yard line. So, again, I remember people saying, Sky Moore's stupid. How do you not break the tackle? How do you not kick it to the outside? How do you not do this? He ran the play perfectly. Donovan Smith screwed the pooch. Straight up. I wish I could play the rest of it for you, but I cannot play it. But yeah, he hits. He don't even hit nobody. Donovan Smith runs right by him, and the safety, makes the tackle. And it is so infuriating. And again, we're at 14 minutes, so this was the same drive that they've now not thrown to Sky Moore on a third down situation. They've not thrown to him on a crossing pattern. This is all in one drive. So early and often, Andy and crew was going to Sky Moore. He was the number one read in 2 of these plays already, and we're just 2 drives in. He's had a direct jet sweep handoff. And guess what? Donovan Smith sucked. He caused it to get blown up. Last one of the day, and this one's a little like hectic for you. I get it. There's a lot on the screen. But you're going to see here, you're going to see MVS in the slot here. And MVS is orange. So MVS is going to run right by the linebackers. And again, I'm trying to show you where these linebackers go because they're going to play like a little bit of a zone. So they're all the blue linebackers are going where they go. And then, of course, the guy down here at the bottom is one-on-one with Justin Watson. So up top, you got Sky Moore. Okay? Sky Moore's up top. I think that's Richie James again in the green. Sky Moore is going to release and take an inside release, and he's going to come up and he's going to run like a lazy cross pattern. He's going to come right across the 50, right to the logo. Okay? And your safety down here, he's going to get behind the linebacker, so the linebacker's not a problem. Your safety is going to drift, and he drifts himself out of the play. And then, of course, the guy on Sky Moore, he runs back, and he's playing like deep coverage here. He's not man-to-man at all. He's going to go back and drop into zone. And then you see Richie James peel off behind him, and, of course, that's where this nickel corner goes. So here it is in action. There we go. The play's been red. Richie James is in green. His guy's good. Now, look, purple was the guy that was dropping back in zone, not on Sky Moore. Sky Moore is right here with the arrow with Patrick Mahomes looking right at him, by the way. Looking right at him. MVS is now taking the safety deep middle, and he's just matched up. He's not even watching the ball, okay? This linebacker underneath the play button is nowhere near getting to that ball. The ball should be thrown right now. He's not getting there. And then everybody down here in this black box is just completely out of the play. Like, there's no point. Patrick Mahomes had a 25-foot window looking right at Sky Moore and did not throw the ball, ladies and gents. He didn't throw it. Look at this. This is the very next clip. He's still looking at him. He's even looks like he's going to throw it. Like, he's in the process of throwing the ball. You can see every defender. They've got their backs turned to him, or they're completely out. Like, all these defenders are out of that play. That is a 25-yard throwing window for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes could spin in circles till he's dizzy, throw up, blindfolded, left-handed, and make that play. And he did not turn the ball loose. And everybody after the game says Sky Moore's ineffective. We're still in the first half. And this is another play of Sky Moore open, and Mahomes choosing not to do anything. So what happens? He pump faked, and he stepped up in the pocket, and Sky Moore kept drifting across, and he finally threw it, and that's the one that he overthrew Sky Moore on that everybody freaked out about. And look, there's Sky trying to catch it, and there's the ball, and after the play was over, I can't believe Sky dropped the pass. I can't believe it. Sky Moore, run the wrong route, done this. No. Sky Moore ran the right route. Patrick Mahomes did not throw it for some strange reason because, again, none of these defenders in the area have any chance of hitting of getting to that ball right there. Patrick Mahomes can throw a 300-mile-an-hour fastball in there if he needs to. He is not – there was no reason to do that, and instead he pump fakes. He has to avoid Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge. He floats the ball up over Sky Moore as he's drifting, and he throws it too high. And Sky Moore, it goes off his fingertips because Sky Moore's only, less than 6 foot. And somehow it was Sky's fault. So, again, that was all in the first half. I could keep showing more than likely. And I just can't do it. But let's get over here and get to some comments. CJ out here with a 200. I don't know what this is. Is this yen? What do we have here, brother? I don't know, but I appreciate it. I don't even know what 200 is. That could translate to 3 pennies. And you know what? I'm excited that you threw it over. And you said, damn, dude, you do know your stuff. Respect from India. Enjoying this knowledgeable side of you. I know he hasn't played in pads in NFL. But what is the ceiling for LRZ this year if he makes the team? I'll answer that for you, my boy. First of all, appreciate that donation. That means a lot. I've played, and I didn't play at a college level or anything, but I have a basic knowledge of the game. I don't know everything. but I do know when I watch film, I know concepts. And sometimes I just feel like people get some unfair stuff. And I try to show it, and it does no good. People are checked out on Sky. You either hate them, you like them, and you don't care what I say. Matter of fact, you'll find reasons to tell me I'm wrong, more than likely. But moving on from that, I appreciate that, brother. And the LRZ, look, when we first signed LRZ, honestly, I'm gonna be dead serious. I thought it was a PR stunt. I really felt like it could have been a PR stunt, and I was like, are we trying to go just, Goodell's trying to expand the game globally, and LRZ ran really fast. Okay. He says he can get 4 2s. So I just thought it was one of those things where he had a hyphenated last name. We all know Brett Veach loves the hyphens, baby. So the hyphenated last name, the fast, everything, they're trying to expand globally with the NFL. Honestly thought it was a PR stunt. I didn't think he was going to make the team. I've slowly but surely done my due diligence and looking at LRZ. I've looked into him and I said, look, he's behind the 8 ball here. He's not played a lot. LRZ's going to have an uphill climb. But you know what? He admits to that, and his dad is knowledgeable of the game. I'm pretty sure that he really, really wants this, and I think he works really hard. I don't think he does. He does. He works very hard. He's going to have to learn the nuances. He's going to have to learn the intuition part of the game. But honestly, I think there is a very good chance he makes the team. I've been putting it, at first I put it like 10 to 15% chance. I've recently come up to like 50-50, 60-40 in favor that I think he could get on here. We seen the other day on day one, Kadarius Toney was running in the backfield as like an RB3. He was doing some running back work back there. But I just showed some clips of Sky Moore doing that last year, and Sky Moore was doing that his rookie year. Me and Steve said that last year. We said that Kadarius Toney sometimes just get the ball in his hands really quick. And there was a game that we were like, hey, why don't you play him at running back a little bit? They did that a few times. And I thought it got his confidence back a little bit. Like he looked more like Kadarius Toney. So, yeah, I think LRZ's got a good chance to make the team. I really do. Now, still, they may go to practice squad and see if somebody will pick him up. But he had a lot of interest. He's not the designated international player, so he will count against the roster spot. They give that to Chew Godric. Now, I do think you could weasel. They could do some weaseling here. You could put Chew Godric on the roster and then free up your international player exemption, maybe. Maybe you can transfer that, and they could transfer it to LRZ and let him sit on the practice squad, and if you ever need him in a pinch, bring him up. Maybe you could do that, because we were talking like Lucas Niang, not the greatest. I would love to just cut him and move on with it, but we don't have a lot of those backup tackles. Maybe Chew Godric can get there, and we can do that possibly, get him on the 53 and then free up the international. I don't even know if that's a possibility. It's a pipe dream here, I'm thinking. Just letting the wheels turn here. There's not a lot going on up here. But I'll say, yeah, man, I appreciate it. And the ceiling for LRZ is, honestly, I think a ceiling for LRZ would be he should make the team, learn that playbook, really dive into learning how to protect Patrick Mahomes. I think if you can protect Mahomes, you become that Jerick McKinnon third down guy. You become a gadget guy. And then the more and more and more you learn, you can make a difference in this league. And I honestly believe LRZ's got the drive and the attitude that I do think in a few years you could see LRZ giving us some very good snaps. And so, yeah, I appreciate the question. Appreciate the donation. You're the man. Carson with a 2-bomb. Put some legendaries in the chat for CJ for me. Carson, 2-bomb, says, thanks for your work, Mike. We should all support. Appreciate you, Carson. Appreciate the 2, brother. I get bored. I mean, we're back to camp now, so now I'm not as bored, but just the other day I had some time. I wanted to go back. I wouldn't have done it if me and Ron weren't talking about, Sky, because, and I've been wrong about Sky too a little bit, just to get back to that. But when I'm under the assumption that they didn't use him properly. I thought in college, from what I remembered, he ran a lot more out of the slot. Like he was just a slot guy. They got on the ball quick. They got it off, and he missed. They did their fair share of that. But when you go back and watch some of that Western Michigan film, he was lined up wide. He took a lot of snaps out wide, and he was beating people on regular routes. They wasn't just giving them the ball. Like he was going up and getting the ball. He was making tough catches. He was beating man coverage. He was running all sorts of routes. And that's what Andy and them seen, but it's just not it's not translated to the NFL just yet. It's not done it. And I don't know if it will. And as much as I tried to show that Sky maybe doesn't deserve all the hate he gets, I will also be the first to say that Sky has got to get it together. This is his year. I'm tired of making excuses. And I don't feel like I do make excuses. I feel like I just look at it logically, and I look at it from a not so much of a fan standpoint. Like, I'm wanting to see why Andy trusts him. I want to see why Brett Veach trusts him. I want to see why they're giving him all this while all the fans are saying cut, cut, cut. And I just don't know if it's there yet. But it's possible. It's deep. I want to see what Nico can do. Justin Ross is right there on that cut line. I'm the same with him. Like, I want to see what Justin Ross can do a little bit, but those receivers don't work well in Andy's system. I think they're all like uphill battles, man, for different reasons, but this receiving core this year is going to be pretty solid. And I'm back on the firm belief that I do think Justin Watson's a lock, number 4. I'm back on that. I was saying that early in the offseason, and Steve was kind of trying to talk me out of it. And then, of course, with signing Mecole Hardman back, clutters it up a little more because you don't feel like you would sign Mecole back. And then he said he turned down other offers to stay with Kansas City. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I appreciate you, Carson, for the 2, by the way. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels like it'd be harder for him to make the team, you know? So I don't think they're taking 7 again, but I could be wrong with that. Maybe they do take 7. But even with 7, you're still going to have somebody is going. But I still think they're going to stick with Tony, and I think they're going to stick with Sky and, honestly, Watson. So, to me, that's your 6, in my opinion. Mecole Hardman might be on the outs, but there's a lot of people that think Mecole Hardman's going to be in, and then they're going to cut Tony. I just don't see him cutting Tony. Now, I do think you could have a Tony Sky Moore trade scenario if somebody wants it. I don't think they would be opposed to trading Mecole Hardman if somebody inquired about him. I don't think they would be opposed to maybe listening to offers for Justin Watson if somebody inquired about him. I don't know who would, but yeah, all that, man. It's fascinating to me. It really is. Like, this is going to be a very fascinating camp, in my opinion, for real. But I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you, David. I see it. AWD says the volume is annoying low. Yeah, it's early in the day, brother. Early in the day, I kind of went early, wanted to go through the whole Spags thing because I thought Spags gives some good info. So let me recap that really quick. Justin Reed was supposed to be day-to-day, and Justin Reed is looking like he may miss with a quad injury all of camp. All of camp minimum is what they're saying. Jaden Hicks is getting his snaps. Jaden Hicks is learning all the positions. He's doing exactly what Shamari did last year. We learned that Josh Williams is running with the 1s right now because Jalen Watson is injured. But him, Najee, and Josh Williams, Jalen, Najee, and Josh Williams are all in the running for corner 2. I think they're all locked to make the team, to be honest. I think there's your top 4 corners, and they'll probably take 6. So who are you taking? You've got Haddon. Kelvin Joseph's coming out and looking good. Echo Boy Doe looked good today. He got a pick. So many names back there. I'm probably missing somebody, obviously. Miles Battle. You name it. We've got a lot of them. We talked about linebackers a little bit. He said he was impressed with Jack Cochran. And again, there's another name I forgot earlier. Besides Isaiah Moore, we also signed Curtis Jacobs out of Penn State. And honestly, I thought Curtis Jacobs out of Penn State reminded me of Willie Gay a lot. And they were talking about Willie Gay replacing Willie Gay, and he mentioned Jack Cochran, not Curtis Jacobs. By the way, Curtis Jacobs is a rookie, and you know it's tough for rookies to make an impact that quickly. But I would like to see what Curtis Jacobs is going to be able to try to do. Also, Cam Jones. I think Cam Jones is really good too. I think he's more equipped to be a middle linebacker, like a thumper, but he's very athletic if you go back and watch some of his Indiana tape. But other than that, we talked about all that, and then Spags just alluded to a lot of good stuff, man, that they're working hard. They're trying to punch the ball out. They're trying to do all this stuff, and yeah, man, it was a good time. I hope you guys heard that. Go back and watch it if you missed anything. I tried to explain questions because they were still hard to hear, but appreciate you guys. Wish Steve could have been here to hang out with us some more. Everybody that made it in here to watch me for about an hour. It's a short one, but it's just me, and it's early. I'm going to go get some dinner, I guess, or do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But, yeah, probably going to make it short, trying to highlight the day. There wasn't a lot that went on today, but I'm going to maybe throw that out tonight for you guys. And appreciate all you guys watching me. be sure to hit that like button on the way out. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. And I appreciate you guys. Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.